In today's video, you're going to learn how to become a millionaire in 10 years. But first, I want to share why I decided to share this content with you. I have been wondering what else to share on my channel, and I was thinking, what do I personally like to research or read about? And I love hearing people's stories about how they have achieved their goals, especially their financial goals, like becoming a millionaire or even a multi-millionaire. So I wanted to share different examples on how people have become millionaires, the tips or the steps that they have taken to become millionaires. I think that's one of my favorite things to read about is people's success stories. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of them with you, which will not only be a fun story to hear, but also really helpful because you can actually apply what these people have applied in their lives to reach your financial goals, to become millionaires if that's what you're looking to do. And speaking of becoming a millionaire, that is what I have done. I am Tiffany Thomas with wealthytiffany.com, and I became a millionaire and achieved financial freedom. So if you are looking to do one or both of those things, hit that like button and hit the subscribe button, and we're going to dive right in. Today's example is Andy Hill, and I have been following him on Instagram for a while now. So if you haven't checked him out on Instagram, definitely do that. But him and his wife have become millionaires, and they did it within 10 years. So I'm going to share the steps that he took in order to do that. And his story begins with him and his wife having a net worth of negative $50,000. So they were actually starting $50,000 in the hole. And he does say that they had a pretty high income for him and his wife both. They were making about $130,000 per year. So while they were making really good income, they were just spending it all. So the first step that they took was to track their spending. Where were they actually spending all of this money, this $130,000? So they set some very specific goals. They wanted to pay off their student loans of $30,000, and then they wanted to pay off his wife's car, Nicole's car, which was $20,000. And they really wanted to reduce their expenses so that she could stay home with the kids. So they set these goals and would have a budget party every once in a while. So they would get together and talk about their finances, talk about what they spent their money on and where they wanted to go moving forward, which is really a great idea. And I personally love tracking my spending, and I do that very simply. I don't take out a piece of paper and write down everything that I've spent my money on. I like to use a free app. You've probably heard me mention it before if you've seen my other videos. It's called Personal Capital. But I love it so much because it really does make tracking your spending very, very simple, and you can track your net worth. I will leave my referral link below in the description, and you can click on that and get your free account set up with Personal Capital to see your full financial picture in one place. And the second step they took was a pretty drastic step. They wanted to live on 50% of their income. And if you are part of the FIRE movement, the FIRE community, Financial Independence Retire Early, like I am, you've probably seen other people that are living on half of their income or even less in some cases. So it is doable, but you really have to focus in and know where you're spending your money and what your goals are. And it was really helpful for them to set this goal since they wanted Nicole, his wife, to stay at home and be with the kids. So if they already started living on half of their income, then the more likely she would be able to do that. The third thing that they did was to commit to a debt-free life. So living on 50% of their income not only helped them to transition for one parent to stay at home with the kids, but it also helped them get out of debt and stay out of debt. They actually crushed $50,000 worth of debt in 12 months. So you can see by having goals and really tracking your spending, you really can knock out a lot of debt and increase your savings rate. And this really is a cool part of their story because they had committed to become debt-free and they stuck with that. And he says not only was it financially freeing, but it was also emotionally freeing. And I can definitely see that. By not being in debt, you are not constantly thinking about this debt that is hanging over your head and trying to constantly pay it off. It is definitely one less thing to worry about in life. Comment below and let me know if you have decided to live a debt-free life. Step number 4 was to take advantage of retirement options that they had. So he started maxing that out, which is amazing. So definitely take a look at your 401k plan and see if your employer does offer a match, and definitely invest at least up to the match because that is free money that you are getting. And he says that about within 7 years, because of the stock market continuing to increase and his employer match and him contributing to his 401k, that his 401k balance was over $100,000. You can really see the effects of compound interest. When you are investing just even a small amount, but you continue to do that in the stock market, your investments will continue to exponentially grow because of compound interest, because of interest building on interest. So make sure that you are investing as much money as possible as soon as possible so that you can take advantage of compound interest. Step number 5 that they took was to invest in tax-advantaged retirement options. For example, like a Roth IRA. And I definitely agree with this. I have a Roth IRA that I have contributed to, and I've even taken money out of my Roth IRA, just the contributions, to buy a real estate property. And if you have more questions about a Roth IRA, I do have another video about that. I will leave a link above and below in the description. You can check that out later on. They also set up a health savings account, an HSA, which is also another amazing retirement vehicle. And an HSA is a great way to invest your money, even though you might be thinking it's just for medical expenses, but that's not necessarily the case. I have an HSA through Lively, actually, and they have a free HSA, a health savings account, that you can invest your money in the stock market, which means you can take advantage of compound interest in your HSA as well. I will leave my referral link below and you can check them out. They are completely free. And if you have more questions about an HSA, I do have a video for you. I'll leave a link above and below in the description. The 6th item that they did was to continue to grow their income. And I really love the points that he talks about. He talks about going above and beyond your job description. So doing a little extra just at your 9-to-5 job can make a huge difference later on. Also, asking for a raise when you deserve it. If you don't ask, you may not get it. You can also take a new position at another company. There are lots of different ways to increase your income. You could also get a side hustle, or start your own part-time business, or even get a part-time job, or sell things online. The 7th thing they did was to pay off their mortgage early. And I actually talked about this in a recent video, so if you are wondering if you should pay off your mortgage early or invest that extra money, you can check out that video. I'll leave a link above and below in the description. But they chose to pay off their mortgage early, which worked out great for them, since they loved eliminating debt from their lives. And in order to do that, they needed to decrease their expenses a little bit more. And they continued to do their budget parties every month. And this was really impressive. Every month, they put an additional $3,000 toward their mortgage payment to really make it happen. I know not everyone can do that, but it just goes to show, once again, if you have a goal and you are really serious about it, then you are going to find different ways to achieve that goal as soon as you can. And that's exactly what they did. And the 8th thing that they talk about is making room for fun. It can't just be all serious business. They knew they needed to celebrate a little bit more, so they ended up taking a few different vacations. And I love this step because sometimes we do get so focused in on our finances and money that we forget where we've come from and what we have really achieved. So we really need to take a step back and think, you know what, things are going really well, and we can celebrate. And that doesn't mean taking an expensive vacation somewhere, but definitely celebrate in some way that might not be so expensive. Even if it's just going to a national park, or going for a hike, or reading your favorite book, or watching your favorite movie, whatever it might be. But just make sure to celebrate those wins in life and have fun along the way. And then number 9, they talk about giving back. And I think this is also great because they realized they weren't giving as much as they would like. And they were even able to talk to their kids about how important it is to give to others. And they created some fun family traditions around this, and they chose a few different organizations that they would like to give to. And he also says, while giving away money didn't increase our net worth per se, it felt like a good progression toward the type of true wealth we wanted our family to have. And I really like that focus, because if you are just hoarding all of your money and it's all about you and no one else, then that doesn't make for a very enjoyable life. We really need to find a certain way to give back. And I think even when we do that, it comes back to us tenfold. Comment below and tell me if you are donating to a certain organization, or even if you are donating your time somewhere. And then step number 10, the last one that he talks about, is following your dreams. And it's interesting, he mentions that they originally thought about investing in real estate, but after doing more research, they decided it wasn't for them, and they decided to invest in starting his own business or growing his own business. So your dreams can change over time, and that is totally fine. So just adjust with that. You don't have to stick to something if that's not really what you want anymore. I personally like investing in real estate, and it has given me the freedom that I desire. So that is a passion or a dream of mine that I did follow. After following these 10 steps, they were able to become millionaires within 10 years. They hit a net worth of $1,050,000, which is really impressive since they started out at negative $50,000 just 10 years earlier. And I love what he says to kind of sum this up at the end. Now that they have achieved this goal, they are going to focus more on fun, enjoyment, and relaxation. And especially since they don't have a house payment or any debts, they are able to do that. It's time for long-delayed kitchen updates, a hot tub in the backyard, and maybe a new car for our growing family. Will these purchases put us below the 1 million net worth mark? Maybe, but what is money for you if you can't enjoy it? And I think that's a really good point. If we are so stressed about our money all the time, or really focused on certain goals that we forget to have fun or enjoy life along the way, then I think we are missing the point. And that's not to say that you should take it to extremes and spend all of your money and go into debt, but really focus on what brings you joy and what are your priorities. You can definitely work toward your goals and make sacrifices along the way, but it doesn't mean that you're not having any fun whatsoever. And if you know of other millionaires that I should highlight, then leave their links below in the comments. And especially comment below if you are a millionaire or if you are working on becoming a millionaire. Hopefully you found this video enjoyable and helpful. And if you're wondering how I was able to become a millionaire, I do have a video for you. I will leave a link above and below in the description and you can check that out. And please hit that like button and share this with someone else who would like to hear this information who wants to become a millionaire. And hit the subscribe button to subscribe to my YouTube channel and to the little bell to get notified on when I post new videos. And if you want to see even more content from me, check out the videos on the side of the screen. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.